Hey guys, so today I wanted to do a sit down and talk video explaining what's been happening in my life for the past couple of weeks while I was on vacation. If you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you guys might already know what's been going on. I've been going through a really tough time, and I did make a video about this, but I never uploaded it because I was a crying mess in the video, and I didn't want to put that up on my YouTube channel because, not that I don't want to show you guys that side of my life, but I felt like that I didn't want the video to be just me crying and me being upset. I wanted to make a video that kind of could help other people that are going through the same thing that I went through. And pretty much what happened was that my cat passed away about a week ago. And the whole entire process of him dying was very long, very drawn out, and very expensive, and very emotionally draining for not just myself, but my family. Because you guys know Bob Marley through my videos. When I first started YouTube, he'd always pop up in my videos, same way as Frank pops up in my videos now. And I even did a furry friends tag with him, so I'll leave that in the description box if you guys want to go check that out and meet Bob. He was a wonderful cat. He was a rescue. He was found in a tree in New Haven, Connecticut, which in a bad neighborhood, and I guess somebody just had abandoned him or accidentally let him out, or I'm not really sure, but he, from day one, was just the best cat. I remember taking him home, and literally, I didn't even have a cat carrier for him when I brought him home. I just put him in my car, and he just sat there and watched me and was like, okay, you can take me wherever. And when I brought him home, he made himself at home like that. Like most cats, you know, they get scared when they're in new surroundings. He was like, oh yeah, I love this place already. And he was just great. He was a great family cat. You know, he didn't just love me, but he loved everybody else. He loved my parents. He loved my brother. And it's funny because at night he would like sleep with me, and then he'd go and sleep with my brother, and then he'd go sleep with my parents. So he would just like rotate all the time. And he was so loving and so friendly. And everybody at the animal hospital even said like he's the nicest cat they've ever met. And that's why he got his name, Bob Marley, because he was so chill, and just like everybody likes Bob Marley, right? And so what pretty much happened is that I was on vacation in Czech Republic, and we paid a woman quite a significant amount of money to watch the cat and go feed him, hang out with him. It was also my parents' cleaning lady, so the cat was very familiar with this woman in the first place, so it wasn't just some stranger coming into the house. What happened is about halfway through our vacation, we got a phone call from the babysitter, and she told us that she found the cat on the floor crying with foam coming out of his mouth. So I immediately told her to take him to the animal hospital. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning in Czech Republic, so I didn't really know where she should take him because our vet was obviously closed at 5 o'clock. It was like 5 o'clock U.S. time. So she took him to the animal hospital. And I found a good one. I found a reputable one with like pretty decent reviews online. And so they, she brought him to the animal hospital, and pretty much what happened was the vet called us about a couple hours later and told us that my cat Bob had a urinary obstruction, whether it be due to like crystals in his urine or just because he was like stressed out, or it also could be dietary. So I told them, I was like, well, what's going to happen? They told me that he was pretty much on the brink of death, that his kidneys were shutting down and his bladder was infected, and it just did not look very good. But for the next week, they pretty much hooked him up to IVs, up to a catheter, and it did take a while, but they did eventually get his kidney functioning again, and he looked like he was doing better. And during this time at the hospital, I was visiting my cat sometimes twice a day, because I felt like if I was visiting my cat, that it would somehow lift his spirits and make him think like, okay, I gotta get better so I can go home. And so I think it was like day 7, they discharged him, and the vet bill was $4,700, which I split the cost with my parents because it's our cat, so we figured it'd be like fair for us to split the cost. I paid money that I could have used for a new car, for a semester at school, for paying my student loans, but I love my cat so much that you cannot put a price on his life, and I will pay whatever price it is. I will sell my belongings if that's what it takes. So we brought him home, and I was in New York City during the week that he was that he was home recuperating, and he was on some antibiotics and some pain medication. And while I was in New York, my mom was calling me and telling me, Steph, the cat looks like he's in a lot of pain when he's going to the bathroom, and it's just something's not right. But I just wanted to be optimistic. I didn't want to think negatively or bring any kind of negativity to the situation. So I'm like, he's okay. He's going to get fine. He's going to get better. Don't worry about it. So I saw my cat one last time before I left for Los Angeles, and I held him, and I had this really weird feeling that, I was just like, wow, what if something is wrong with him? He's really off. I feel odd about this. What if this is truly, the last time I'm going to see Bob? And it just, I don't know, I had that thought, and it kind of scared me a little bit, but I'm like, no, don't worry, Steph. You're just acting crazy. Don't worry about it. So, we arrived in Los Angeles the next day, and it was nighttime. It was 11 o'clock, and my mom had come with me, and my brother, and my stepdad was watching the cat, and taking care of the cat. And I walk into my apartment, and my mom looks at me, and she says, Stephanie, I don't want you to freak out, because she knows I freak out when things like this happen. Literally, I have no emotional control. I go into, anxiety and panic mode. And my mom told me, don't panic, but Bob is in the hospital again. Same thing happened. He was foaming at the mouth, and he can't pee. And they're going to need to do an emergency surgery, and basically what that surgery is they're going to have to cut off his penis. I mean, literally, that's what the surgery is. It sounds awful. It probably is awful. But apparently it's just supposed to, make it easier for the cat getting the surgery to urinate after that. So, the surgery was almost $5,000, but, I talked with the veterinary clinic, and we made some kind of deal where, I was going to finance this procedure, and I was going to pay it off, monthly. So the very next day, they told me that they had to go into surgery because his kidney values were consistently decreasing, and that he was, getting worse and worse. So they had to do the surgery before things got any worse. The day of the surgery, the vet called me and told me that I would need to be by my phone for the next couple of hours because they were going to call me and keep me updated because the surgery doesn't always work and there are risks involved, and they just needed me to be on standby in case anything bad happened. And I remember not being that worried. I just had so much faith that this surgery was going to work. I thought, wow, this surgery is so expensive. They have such a good team working on him. They have, surgeons who have been doing this surgery for many, many years on many different cats. And I've even looked it up online, and the prognosis for this surgery is good. And yeah, so about an hour into the surgery, the vet called me, and he told me first off, he's like, well, we have good news and bad news. And automatically I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? The good news was that he was under anesthesia and he was doing well and he was stable. The bad news was that when they went into his urethra, it was completely shredded and there was nothing that they could do. They said literally it was the worst case of whatever it was that they saw. They'd never seen anything like that in a cat. And I asked them why this happened, and they said it's it just happens. It just happens in male neutered cats. Sometimes it's fixable, and in this case, which is the worst case scenario, there's nothing that can be done. There was one other surgery that they could have done, which was much more expensive and much more invasive and has a much less success rate. They could have hooked him up to a bag pretty much, and we'd have to change the bag 3 times a day. And then with that procedure, there's so many complications. The cat pretty much lives its life disabled, lives its life with constant urinary tract infections, which eventually become resistant to antibiotics. My cat was 3 years old. So I didn't want my cat to go through that kind of a life. And at that point, I freaked out, and I just handed the phone over to my mom because she's the one that she lives with Bob. And I told her, I was like, Mom, I don't know what to do at this point. We've spent already close to $8,000 on Bob, and I feel like most people wouldn't even wouldn't even agree to the surgery that we had already agreed to, and now another surgery. So my mom told the vet that at that point, he's under anesthesia, and if he wakes up, he's going to be in pain. He's going to be hooked up to all these tubes, and he's going to be confused and scared. So my mom said, just let him go now because he's asleep still. So he'll just remember going to sleep, and that's it. It's just honestly first few days after this whole entire thing happened, I was completely heartbroken. I've had loss in my life. I lost my dad a year ago, And it's like the worst feeling ever. It just, you'll be okay for like a second, you know? You'll forget about it for a second. But then when you remember the next second, it's like literally like a 2-ton truck hitting you. And only now, like a week later, I think it's been a week, I feel better. I'm still sad. I'm still upset, and I still think about him all the time, and it still confuses and shocks me that he's gone, and that I'm never going to see my cat anymore. I think that's the worst part, is just the knowledge that, like, I'm not going to see him anymore. And I don't want to cry in this video, so I'm just going to make it on a positive note, because so many people lose loved ones, so many people love pets, and just because it's, you know, people are like, oh, it's just a cat, it's just a dog, but I think pets are just as much a part of your family as other family members. I love my cat just as much as I love any other member of my family. I don't know if that sounds screwed up or whatever, but my cat's been there for me through so many tough times in my life. So many times where I was upset or sad and, you know, was home alone, and my cat would just curl up next to me, and just my cat being there. I mean, I think that is like what love is being there for somebody. But yeah, I mean, I think the one way to look at a situation like this is that cats go to heaven too, and my dad is in heaven, so I like to think that my cat is in heaven with him, sitting on his lap. And my cat lived a beautiful, amazing life, and he had a loving family, and he had so much fun. He got to play outside, he got to catch mice, he got to, you know, he just spent 3 years of his life living in the lap of luxury. He got the best cat food. I remember for Christmas, when I was in Connecticut this past Christmas, I literally spent like $150 on my cat. I bought him a new bed, I bought him catnip, I bought him treats, I bought him food, I bought him toys, and he had the best Christmas ever, and I'm so glad that I got to spend one last Christmas with my cat and to really show him that I love him. Even though I live 3,000 miles away, my cat still knows that I love him and that I care about him. And he got to meet Frank, and they actually really liked each other. Frank and Bob were constantly playing with each other. Frank sometimes got on his nerves a little bit, but they were definitely like friends. It was like a love-hate relationship between them two, but nothing like ever aggressive, or no aggression between them at all. So yeah, so this video is for Bob Marley, my cat. Bob, I don't know if you can watch YouTube in heaven. I don't know if you have the capacity. Maybe you can, but I love you, and you don't even know what a wonderful difference you made in my life, and you've entertained so many people. You are on my YouTube channel, and I know you guys love Bob, so here's to Bob, and I want to cry, but I'm crying. I suck. I try not to cry in this video. Tough it up, Stephanie. Okay, so that's it for the video. I love you, Bob, and I love you guys, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.